One thing that Grace mentioned, which strikes me so deeply, is when we recognize the presence of God, infinite spirit, infinite light, as us, everything begins to change. So that was the heart of the meditation, and somewhat the heart of the best overview that I have seen of the evolution of humankind into the awareness that they are spiritual, totally 100% true spiritual matter, having a human experience. So again, with this awareness, when we cross the line to realize that we're not a separate force moving about in the universe, unconnected to anything, but when we realize our great oneness, and that we are all one in the body of God, in the body of being, in the body of spirit, that we are truly spiritual in our essence, that is what makes the great advancement for us. So that happen along the way as we go higher and higher and freer and freer. Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to say something about the power of spiritual mind treatment. It is a purely scientific form where we direct the movement of our consciousness by means of our conscious thought. We direct that invisible material, that God substance that we're always working with. Whenever we think, we are igniting that substance to move out on our behalf and to become whatever it is that we are thinking of. And so realizing this, we realize that now is the time for us to take responsibility that we are conscious beings and to begin to think, always be aware of the quality of our thoughts and what we are putting into that think bank and what we are moving out by means of our thinking, what we are moving out into the atmosphere. So spiritual mind treatment sets into movement the law of mind through our thought to move through invisible substance to bring about what we want. So the more that we're doing this, not just on a Sunday, not just here and there when we want to correct a problem, but making it the entire way that we are, the entire pattern of our thinking, observing and knowing the perfection that is all the time, this is the way that we become transcendent. This is the way that we move up the ladder and recover our completeness and our wholeness. So know how powerful you are. Know how powerful your thoughts are, and do a lot of this spiritual mind treatment to set in action what you want for your experience. It's truly great that we are all here, gathered together in the name of truth, each one here to bring out his or her high priest, his or her master self within. And we come together to share with one another the bounty of our discovery. Last week we talked in terms of the one divine formula for fulfillment, and that we found to be continually recognizing only God, only perfect life, as the only great unlimited thinker, doer, and the deed done in, through, and by means of us. So this is the mystical formula. The higher self is the only doer and the deed done. And now this week, we are talking about the stuff of God, the creative force, the invisible stuff out of which all things visible are made. And that is light. Majestic, complete and whole, all that is, all in all, the very essence permeating all. The look of love is light. The activity is light. Streaming through the fabric of the universe, binding us together in one great whole, one body of being, the golden thread within us, uniting us with perfect source, the very stuff of our being. So light is the great gift that is already given, the first and primary gift that can do all in its all-inclusive majesty. How does light operate for us? Well, in so many ways. When contacted consciously or unconsciously, it comes forth as illumination, inspiration, the right creative thought, right answers. It can perform conversion into the perfect healing we need. When we need more energy, it becomes that increased flow of energy through our being. And we hear of the light of consciousness when we know that we know a thing. And suddenly there is that inrush of warmth and satisfaction and peace. And this feeling is light coursing through our minds and being, filling us with a sense of wholeness and completeness and clarity. You know, this thing that I'm talking about is called a realization. You know, when you get the aha? And I think of that little cartoon character in the newspaper ads where the light bulb would go off on the top of his head and say, I got it! So light is this light that we experience in so many ways is the original light of God, which we are constantly using. You know, in the start of creation, God said, let there be light, and there was light, and let that be the substance to work with. So this light of God is the light that lights up the universe. And this activity is meant to be fully and directly and consciously continued and carried on by us, since we are the inheritors. This light wherein by means of our conscious bringing out, we become radiant. We become luminous. We come together to form the light that lights up the world, lit up by our conscious connection and use of the eternal light of the great I Am. So, magnificent light is moving, conductible, fluid stuff, which we may access and claim and actually use to heal any body part that has slipped out of alignment with the perfect truth, and any condition. Light contains the complete, dissolving, healing currents, which we can utilize through the avenues of our consciousness to transform a thing to its perfect, divine pattern. This pattern is ever invisibly blueprinted, imprinted on the hall of our divine memory. And it is always available as our perfect reference point when we have gotten off base in our outer world. It is the light of perfect adjustment. No chiropractic treatment could be better, and I love chiropractic treatment. But there is nothing higher than the treatment, the adjustment of the mind to recognize the truth. So we can, and in fact, we are always accessing directly the God light that we are, For it is the very stuff of all manifestation. God spoke his word, and the light became whatever. Let there be light first. Then let light form. Then let there be the seas and the animals, etc., etc. So this stuff is the stuff of divine beingness, and all creation moves upon this stuff. So we are always using this stuff, whether we know it or not, by means of our consciousness and our thoughts, and it is the very stuff of all manifestation. All the heavens and the earth and everything in it, there is not one thing apart or separate from light. So all this light, mobilized by consciousness to condense into various activities and forms. Always, you know when you're starting a project and you don't know where your resources are, and sometimes we say, oh, someone says, well, what are you working on? You tell them, they say, well, where's your backing? Who's supporting you? Where are your resources? And then we say nothing, or we don't know, because we haven't, because we're thinking in terms of our resources being a connection out there, okay? And we know that all great persons, Ford, Edison, whatever, they had an idea, they got a great idea, they didn't perhaps have the money at the time or the resources, they went around to person said, no way, it's impossible, you can't, and sooner or later the great truth comes forth. That great faith within them that knew that the idea itself must eventually lead them to the perfect realization, the perfect way to fulfill this desire. This is the light leading from within. This way was present. So they weren't disturbed. They knew they had it all. And we should know this too. We should know, absolutely, that when we get a great idea, we are always starting with the allness of light at our command. And it is the stuff that we are, not separate from us. We don't have to go shopping for it down the street. We got it right where we are. And through our thought feelings, the power and the directive force and the fire of light, our visions come forth into being. So, science has made so many marvelous discoveries today in and around harnessing this light for constructive and healing purposes. We have the laser, which draws upon the invisible rays of the universe and focuses them in a great invisible beam of purpose. Through radiation of light, cancers and tumors may be dissolved completely. We have learned the mystery of holograms and holographs, breaking up the dispersion and reassembly of light particles, and how to reassemble these particles perfectly at the point of preference. So technologically, we have advanced greatly in understanding the all-purposeness of light. What a great product, right? All-purpose light. But the greatest of all discoveries is yet to come to full awareness. And that is the supreme technology of God consciousness, where we work directly through consciousness with the love light of God, in which time we will need no intermediary instruments, no mechanical devices to conduct and direct this splendid, magnificent light and love that we already are. Well, we shall release all substitute and invention, arriving at the perfect point of such complete and clear understanding of our God-given dominion and relationship with light. So clear that we shall be able to release dependency on all mechanical substitutes and use directly the light and power that we are. And we are beginning to do this more and more today, which is testimony to the arrival of the age of enlightenment, the golden age of freedom. You know, in spiritual mind treatment, or any clear pattern of thought, however we get there, we specify and direct the light of our conscious awareness on a laser beam of thought which visibly manifests the thing we have been thinking of. The thought itself, gathering to itself the particles through our belief and steadfastness, and everything that it needs to atomize into form. The first response when someone tells me something that I don't want to receive is, no way. I don't accept it. You know, I throw it out, I evict it immediately. You continue in meditation, bringing the light, God, perfect light, perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. Bringing the light and the love, flowing it through that part of the thing, and I have the right to dissolve whatever I don't want to accept. Okay? So the decision in my consciousness, and then I use the light, you know, this healing light. Now we can go to lasers and we go to all, they're wonderful, they're fantastic. But we also have it directly. And it can burn out gross matter like nothing else can. Over and over again, I have used this. You know, the more I realize that this is what we are. I mean, there just is nothing else. And so getting on top of it and spending the time, the only time we have to spend, and then we don't have to pay these outrageous bills, is spend the time in your consciousness. Do your homework inward first, but you can. If I can, you can. Because we are all God, and we are all that light. So we have this incredible power that we can access, and we practice through ministry. All you need to do is practice. Just be interested. Practice and take charge. And say, whatever it is I was experiencing over there, that was then, this is now. Now I want to experience the reality of my dominion and who I am. And you have such marvelous ways, and you'll get to the point where you can't wait until that time for your meditation. Because you know that you will become so centered, so aware, so powerful. And then you can move out in your world and create the thing that you want with the greatest of ease. Because you are doing the inner work. Clearing out and knowing who you are. Okay. So many today, and there are persons in this room who are testimony to the recovery of our personal dominion. They have accessed the all-powerful light and heal all kinds of so-called impossible conditions. And today, thank goodness, even the media is on to big secrets. And they're talking about, you know, bone healing, and it's documented, and there's scientific evidence, and the networks are doing it, and Channel 2, and so God is in, and it's wonderful because that helps us to be released even more, and to have less and less of the collective mind to work against. You know, very often discoverers, the ones who are moving out first, have to transcend that collective mind, which wants to say where it is, and wants to say, oh, no, well, that's, you know, well, that's, you know, magic, or that's strange, or that's impossible, or whatever, to stand in the way of the truth coming forth, because it would mean it would have to give up something it's rested in for a very long time. So fortunately, even the media, the voice of the mass unconscious, is responding. Okay, so light, you can see a person's field of light. If you can't see it, you can feel it. That is the atmosphere of their conscious knowing. The sum total of all those thoughts they think and the feelings they feel constantly. It is said that a person of great light actually illumines the gems and clear reflectors that they wear. We speak of persons as light or heavy, right? So the more shut off they are from their freedom, from the awareness of their light, the more dense and dominated by gravity they appear. And so we say, that's a very heavy person. Oh, they have a heavy atmosphere. Have you ever said that? Or I feel heavy around them, right? Because they're more obscure. They're pulled and weighted down by the forces of unconscious ignorance. It's not chosen, it's just unconscious, and separation. And we say that a person is radiant or dull. Imagine, you really are, right where you are, the consummate light bulb. And really, the beauty of the jewels that you wear. They are empowered by your consciousness. You've heard of people coming up and lighting up a room. You say, that person, made my day, lit up my room, whatever it is, right? The great masters say that once we go up in consciousness and independence and clarity, we truly shall all light up the rooms that we grace. With that great force and intensity of our great consciousness, far beyond that which can be done by electricity. And I'll just say, one thing I have noticed myself, after I've worked with people in spiritual mind treatment, my clients, I go into the quiet place where it's quiet, and I come out into the main room afterwards, and every single time I am stunned. The velocity of the light in the room is like so much brighter. And my apartment is already bright, but it is so intensely bright and beautiful. And the colors are so striking. So it says, when we fine-tune our consciousness, these things are, automatic gifts that come along with it. So recognize that you are the power of God's full light, right where you are, needing nothing. For you have it all. Practice using this light in all, direct through your being. Light will become to you completely and successfully all that you desire. And here's another secret. As you gradually practice this release of attachments to methodologies and technologies, now I'm not saying that they're wrong, they're beautiful and they're marvelous. What is the error is that we become attached to them. Okay? So as you gradually release these attachments, recognizing you are the healing power, not the particular thing that you're using, your God light will shine more and more. As you practice the release of addiction to inferior powers, which are in reality only borrowing the one power that is, you can use your natural resources of light more and more, to the point where you can move off all pills, etc. Recognizing that you are always, through your God self, doing the healing anyway. Why pay fortune anymore? Now, I am not advocating extremism. And I say, don't move any faster than you can. Use everything that helps you at the point where it's helping you. But know that God is the one power, the life force. When I say God, I mean that life force, not a person. Life force is the one and only healing power operating through things. And get it now, deep within you, that you are it. And the ultimate goal is freedom from all substitutes and channels and radical reliance on the separate light that you are. With a perfect restoration of your perfect relationship with the infinite and the sublime. Ram Dass, in his book on meditation, he says, and all great consciousness, beings of great consciousness will say this to you. When you're meditating, don't stop at the light shows. Don't get hung up in the light displays and, the shows and the sounds and the whole thing. Go for the goal. Don't stop there on your experiences. Don't get distracted by them. Go all the way until you make the perfect contact. So what I'm saying is don't go for the surface displays and the special effects of things. Don't be so mesmerized by them. In life, within yourself, within your personal self, and do the cleansing of all erroneous angers, hates, imbalances, I can't, beliefs in negativity and lack. Do that deep cleansing that automatically releases the light and power that you are. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to seek light out there, here and there. Go for the highest and the best. Then no mediums will be required. And as it is said, the highest is the nearest. So as you clear and cleanse and you are willing to move up, willing to give up whatever is not the perfect truth about you, light moves through the invisible, filling up the vacuum of the God spots that you have created. You have created this through your cleansing and your release of all that is false. And then it streams through you, and it shows up on you. In your physical appearance, as the dissolution of age, burden, worry, as the answer to every prayer. You are literally moving more and more into the wholeness and simultaneously going lighter and lighter. For you are vibrating at higher and cleaner levels of being and freedom. You have the key to a gold mine of light. In my meditations I have realized, I have seen, at least for me, this is how it appears, that we live on great circular tiers of, or planes of being, all existing simultaneously. And that surrounding us are increasing dimensions of light beingness and clarity, to which we are eternally and infinitely connected, and with which we ever exchange energy. That's why we think, when we think, it comes from above, we talk about from above. Well, from the next highest level of understanding, the next level of life. So we're always exchanging. When we get that, we finally get clear on a thing. It becomes real solid to us. So through our love and our awareness of light, we can receive this higher information. So the freer you get, the more light you acquire, and the higher and the wider you go. Crossing over, eventually plane to plane, resurrecting in each finer dimension of your being, your mastery of light. And so where are these planes? Are they out there? They are already established within. So we can do this time travel, this plane traveling, right where we are, by means of the quality of our consciousness. So on this plane, which we describe as the physical, the material, the final demand and command is to come to a place of mastery over all things physical. Physical body, body of thought, body of experiences, body of money, increasing love and oneness shall release all this freedom to you, step by step. Love and faith are the keys that open up your personal gold mine. So light is primal stuff, the first stuff, the pure stuff of God being, that we can use to dissolve any obstruction. We can cause movement and balance with the light of our consciousness. We can renovate, restore, heal anything with the perfect light. We can create with light, for light is the pureness, pure essence of God love. We can clear up entirely body, mind, emotion with light. Light is fiery and burns up dross. Light is liquid, life essence, cleansing dis-ease. Light is all-powerful. Light is harmonizing. Light is power and electricity. So as Michael said, it is never necessary to try to force light. Yet, in moving closer and closer to God and love in all, you will become, naturally and easily, more and more light. So don't wait to become one with the light, to wake up out of the dream of density, to find it, to find out you were always one from the beginning. Do it now, here, where you are. Consciously court the truth and light. And you can meet it and own it now and achieve emancipation now. Releasing untold necessity for burdens of disease, pain, loss, lack, and the great wake-up call of death to discover that you are light to begin with. So you can do this right now. So let us go within now. And move to the central point of being where all of God is. Let us bring ourselves face to face with the power and light of our being. And let us say, from deep within, great love, oh great life, I immerse myself in the full awareness of thy entire being now. Thou art all in all for me. Right now, I command thy force to shine completely on this particular area of my life I am thinking of now. I consciously cross over now to witness the perfection there, to see it bright, healed, and oh so clear. Healed perfectly and released in all now. I practice radical reliance on thee now. Oh, I love my freedom. I am whole. I am restored in thee. I give mighty thanks. And so it is. I am that I am. And right now, I declare, I am one with the power and light of all being. The golden beams of my great consciousness uplift me and direct me now, dissolving all that is unlike the original patterns of divine perfection that are mine. In body, mind, and being, I am one with God now, committed to distributing the majestic light of being everywhere and in all that I do. I am God's special emissary of love, light, and victory. I herald the completeness and emancipation of all creation right where I am. In the loving embrace of divine abundance, every good is delivered to me in perfect sequential unfoldment of unlimited splendor and ease. Thank you for all that I am and all that I have and all the freedom I gloriously acquire as I radically rely on Thee. I am the victory and the life, and so it is. Okay, so let's do a closing treatment. Right now, I declare there is only one power, one presence, in filling the entirety of this great world. And that is God being, infinite life, radiating and expressing by means of each individual gem in this room. I know that God creates myriad forms of its likeness, each having a particular exquisite perfection to express. I declare that right now, whatever that next aspect of perfection is that requires expression is now brought to the surface by each individual, actualized and brought out as the complete, victorious body of the Great I Am. I know that whatever healing is required, regardless of whatever area, how big, how small, the light of God is accomplishing that right now, in, through, and by means of that person. I give thanks for tremendous demonstrations this week for each being in this room, that their lives are powerfully expanded and increased in good, that they are celebrating moment to moment the miracles of unfoldment and attainment where they are. I know that my word is one with the mighty action of divine being. I know this word is accomplished already. Each one is filled to the full with new glory and new expression, and so it is.
So it is.